Hey guys, welcome. What the heck is that? So I've had a few people ask me, why do you make things from scratch? Isn't it just so much easier to buy them? Yes, yes it is. But I'll give you 3 reasons why I am the way I am. Number 1, I was dropped a lot when I was a baby. Number 2, as a millennial, I'm pricing myself out of the housing market due to my avocado toast consumption. So, while I refuse to give up avocado, I will make my own toast. 3, freedom. When you have the basics, flour, sugar, salt, water, and sometimes yeast, you can make every gluten-filled carbohydrate your heart ever so desires. This heart desires some bagels. Now, I could have started this dough last night and have bagels within the hour. I'm gonna make another dumb cooking video. But I just love making online content for viewers like you. So here we are. Bagels, or boggles, however you like to say it. Because you got your plain Jane bagels to your everything bagel. Garlic, sesame, onion, poppy seed, blueberry, cheese, the list goes on and on. If there's a flavor you like, there's a bagel you like. But if you're making your own bagels, you could throw in whatever the heck you want for your perfect bagel. So to start, we're gonna need some bread flour, also strong baker's flour, high protein flour, gives us the extra chewiness. If you don't have bread flour, not a big deal, just won't be as chewy. Measure out 500 grams, 9 grams of instant yeast, 10 grams of salt, 20 grams of sugar. Now most recipes call for barley malt syrup, but we ain't that fancy. You can also use brown sugar, it's kind of like a nice in between, but we're trying to keep it simple here. So at this point, you could also add whatever the heck you want. If you want some chili bagels, cinnamon bagels, ginger bagel, oregano bagels, or even a cayenne and curry bagel, that's your kind of thing. Actually sounds kind of good. Go for it, whatever. But I'm gonna go for a classic onion and garlic bagel, my 2 favorite vegetables. But let's do some black garlic since I'm just a little bit fancy. So that's gonna be 1 teaspoon of garlic and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Whisk our dry ingredients together. Next we're gonna need some warm water, around anywhere between 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot will kill the yeast, too cold, yeast won't activate properly. We're gonna measure out 300 milliliters. So this is a 60% hydration dough. You could add more, a little less, it's really up to you. Next, our trusty KitchenAid stand mixer. Dough hook, let it rock. So we should be just about done in about 8 minutes of kneading. The real way to tell if your dough is ready for the stretch test. You can see here, our dough stretches and is pliable. That means we got our gluten development and this is enough kneading. Roll that into a ball. Grease our mixing bowl for our last dishes. Plop this in. Cover. So you're gonna wanna let this proof and rise for about an hour and a bit or until it doubles in size, and we'll come back and we'll shape them, proof them again, and then you'll boil them and bake them. So we're back. As you can see, our dough has doubled in size. The yeast has been at its work, getting our little pockets of air. But now what we gotta do is beat it down, deflate this out. All right, so let's split this up into 8. So now we got our 8 even pieces, shape them into a tight ball. So roll them out, push it down, take a corner, fold it in, and keep the seam at the bottom. You have a nice ball. All right, so how do you shape it into a bagel? There are typically 2 ways. The easy way, we'll grab a ball, poke it through the center, you got a little hole, and then taking finger, 2 finger, stretch it out that way. And this leaves us with a hole. Now, take some practice to getting the exact size you want because these tend to shrink down. Let's get them on a tray, spray a little grease so they don't stick to it. And then there's the second way, where the traditional way, roll it into a log. Kind of want it so that the ends are kind of tapered. Then you'll fold them so that they meet using the table, close that seam. There you have your bagel. You could shape them whatever way. If you like your buns with really big holes, you can do them with really big holes. It's your bagel, it's your world. I, for one, like my bagels almost like a bun, with a tiny hole in the center. Gives more surface area for your internals. A little bit more cream cheese. I don't know why I could just make these into buns, but that little hole gives you more of that crust all around. So again, long, fold them together, and then roll it to close the seam. We got our bagels shaped. They all look wild and not perfect. I'm no professional bagel guy. We're gonna cover these, let them rise just a little bit as we preheat our oven to 425 and we get our water boiling. For our water, you have to boil your bagels. Why? Because that's what bagels are. That's what gives it the bagelness. Because when you boil the bagel first before you bake them, it gelatinizes the starch on the outside, giving it that shiny, thick crust. So what that does is it seals all the moisture on the inside, so when it bakes, you get that nice interior, dense and chewy bagel. So we're gonna put 2 liters of water, to which we'll add a 1/4 cup of honey. Now this isn't exactly needed, optional, but it helps give that nice, sweet flavor on the outside of the bagel. And then 1 tablespoon of baking soda. What the baking soda does is it helps give some browning properties to the exterior of our bagel. It helps with the Maillard reaction or some science thing. All right, so we're gonna bring this to a slow boil, low boil, not a roaring boil, but just a nice hot bath. So as we wait for our oven to heat up, our water to boil, we could prep our baking sheet. You spray a little bit of oil just so they don't stick. And then sprinkle some cornmeal. Also helps with not sticking and gives it the bottom a nice little texture. All right, so at this point our water is ready. Oven is preheated. It's been a little bit of time. Our bagels are proof. They've risen a little bit. Again, if you want like super dense bagels, you don't need to proof them again. If you want really fluffy bagels, proof them a little bit longer. However you like your bagels. To boil them, using a nice spatula, just a little bit of oil so they don't stick to it. So our water is boiling. Let's grab our bagels. Be gentle. I'm gonna lay them in. You're gonna want to boil them for 1 minute per side. Flip them. If you like a chewier bagel, boil them longer. If you want less chewy, boil them less longer. All right, it's been a minute. Let's flip. All right, that's 1 minute. To which we plop these off. Ooh, look at this one. This one separated. It's like a bagel croissant. See, that's the hard technique. So we got our bagels here. This one's got cornmeal in it because I flipped it for some reason. This one broke because I'm no good at making bagels. That's okay. So at this point, I have an egg wash here, which is an egg white and a splash of water. And give this a nice coating of this egg. So at this point, this is the perfect time to put your toppings on. Depending on what you already have on the inside, kind of want to complement it with the toppings. I got some hydrated onions on these ones. Just gonna sprinkle these on. Or if you want to do one with some sesame seeds, go nuts. How about some black sesame seeds? Sure. What about some Japanese furikake? I don't know how it's pronounced. Go nuts. You could hit them up with the Salt Bay. Did I do that right? I feel like I'm just wasting salt here. Sure. Or you could just leave it plain. Next, we just gotta bake them. So we're gonna put them in the oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're done. You might wanna rotate the pan halfway. All right, so they are done. They look done. The way that you could check to make sure the inside at least 200 degrees. This is registering 106, 107. So they're done. Now there is one more step before you could cut into these and eat them. You have to let them cool. Because what happens is if you don't let these cool, these aren't technically done their process. If you cut them now too early, all the steam will escape. You get very soggy inside. So by letting it cool and resting, that steam will have its chance to slowly escape, making your bun nice and moist and yummy. All right, there's your bagels. You know, for a nice breakfast, you can make yourself a New York Lox Bagel. Smear some cream cheese. Be generous. Some lox. Some thinly sliced onions. And some capers. Ooh. This is the perfect breakfast sandwich here. Or for lunch, you could give yourself a nice BLT. Got some mayo, some lettuce, bacon, and lastly some tomatoes. Make sure you salt your tomatoes. BLT is a tomato sandwich, not a bacon sandwich. Treat it as such. The perfect lunch bagel. Or if you want bagels for dinner, how about a steak bagel? Sure, it's your bagel. So be free. Hopefully, I've given you some tools for you to build whatever your heart's desire. Don't let your dreams be dreams.